start. Hi, my name is Spec or Spectral Haunts. I am one of your co-hosts for today's night's whatever your time zone, FPS. And I am joined by the lovely, the wonderful, a person who I haven't gotten to do an FPS with in a good long while, which is honestly criminal, very criminal, because they make me happy and
Wait.
is the one who edited this beautiful cut. Working here. I'm working. This lovely title card and who I love so much and who I guess I'll finally let introduce themselves.
Oh. Hi. I am Oatmeal, and I will be playing the professor. Oh my god. Aw. Whew. Alright, well, set up for this. This is taking place directly after, I think it's called You Owe Me a Story, the
Yeah.
FPS that Tome had with Yura, um, wherein Tome was reminded that, hey, I I don't know if I told Professor that I
It
could.
was it wasn't even fully reminded. It was, what do you mean he's allowing people into his family?
Well, that first.
Betrayal,
Oh.
shock, horror, unloved, unwanted.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, where's the professor at? Because Tome's like beelining out of the living room,
Mm-hmm. Um,
bloodhound hunting down this man.
Given the time period, the professor is probably in the ellipsis in the house. Which reminds me, I meant to ask Fletch where in the house the ellipsis would go. um, Not that it super matters, but I. Oh, okay, yeah. The garage space. That makes sense. It's not like they have a car.
Not like they have a no. Technically, Tome's supposed to have a car. I just never implemented it.
Huh.
Um, it's only ever been brought up in Bash.
Oh.
Um,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
can see this. Um,
So
but it's
it's in
practically
its
not canon at this point because I've never brought it up.
yeah,
Um,
as far yeah. Uh yeah, I mean
I was like,
he kind of just walks everywhere.
yeah, he's got to get them steps in, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
Burn off the 3 Pop-Tarts he had for breakfast.
Hmm. Okay, okay. So
This is jokey. Eat better.
there's like a garage directly attached to the house, so it's a nice cozy space and all. Yeah, yeah. Okay. Yeah, so you
Large, cozy.
Tome, you know that this is where the ellipsis usually is when it's in the house. Um, and yeah, the professor has just said, like, in the chat, you said, like, hey, do you want to talk? And he was like, is something wrong? And you were like, no. And he was like,
Yeah.
all right, if you say so. Like, yeah, I can talk.
Tome outside the ellipse is looking up. Please let me in. I need to have an extremely important conversation with him.
You're not. Professor's just gonna, like, open the door and,
You!
huh? Hello?
Tome grabs. I need you to understand he's had this in my head for days. Tome grabs the professor by the shoulders and just very intently looks at him and goes, why didn't you tell me you were accepting family members now?
um, because you were in a very delicate headspace at the time?
Fuck that!
Tome.
Professor. Sorry, I'm so giggly. I can't take this seriously.
I wanted you to uh, think about it with a clear head, and you did not have one for a while.
Well, my head's clear now. It's
Okay.
been clear for at least a couple of days.
That is true, yes.
Tom just kind of taps his foot impatiently.
Professor was not expecting this. Uh,
I'm sorry, Professor. I stand by what I've said out of character a million times. The worst consequence of the change of heart was a confident tone.
uh-huh.
Um, the psychic damage is irreparable to many of us. Uh,
um, yeah, so he kind of, like, he kind of, like, turns his head sheepishly and is just like, alright, do you want to be family?
well, yes.
Okay.
Uh, sorry, I should probably be more polite about this. Sorry, I was caught up in the moment. Yes.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
That went a lot easier than I expected it to. I figured you'd be a lot more reluctant, to be honest.
No, no. I've wanted to be I've wanted to ask you for a while, but didn't I didn't think it was right when you couldn't think properly.
Understandable, not to mention your last experience with probably what I'm closest to was an asshole with a million problems.
Ah, hmm.
Which, gods, I probably should have started. Um, you don't have to put a label on it, but I was specifically wondering if you would like to be. This went a lot better in my head, actually. Now that I'm in the moment, I'm realizing that I kind of came in here very rudely at that, actually.
Well, it's better than being rejected, and I'll take that. So I'm all right with this.
I would not reject you, Professor, unless you asked the date, but then I actually would reject you because. And he kind of makes a full body like scrunch.
Not that kind of family.
Um, but yes, no, if it was just general family, of course I'd accept you.
Hmm. Good. Yeah, as for brother, that particular bond has had some baggage attached to it for most of my life, but maybe it doesn't have to anymore.
Consider me a clean slate,
Thank you.
of course. And he kind of rubs the back of his neck.
You know, when I saw you in my med bay, I feared it was too late to ask.
Yeah. And his face does kind of soften at that. Well, I can reassure you it's a lot harder than that to take me out.
Clearly. That's good. Actually, that reminds me. Um, you, when you were in the med bay and Crystal and I had to help you, um, I I gave her a summary of what I knew of your health, including background character syndrome.
Tome makes a little bit of a face. Understandable.
Uh huh. And I assumed that uh, Well, I thought it fair to assume that she didn't know what it was, so I explained what it was. Um, and she told me that it wasn't lethal. It wasn't terminal.
He kind of blinks twice before shaking his head and goes, no, no, it absolutely has to be. I've read too many cases, Professor.
She said the worst it gets is temporary invisibility, not non existence.
No, I have read cases. He's
Uh,
got his little arms crossed.
alright. Uh, no offense, but when it comes to matters of medicine, I trust Crystal perhaps more than anyone else on Zatori.
Tom kind of opens and closes his mouth. I can't argue with that one.
Mm-hmm.
I just know what I've researched.
All right. I mean, given the state of uh, records regarding it, I believe that maybe there were things that led you to believe that, but she was very clear. And I mean, her specialty is, uh, well, rare magical diseases.
All right, time to roll something. Tom, can you shut your ego away for 5 seconds? No, he cannot.
Uh huh.
Got it. um, yeah, that his ego is very strong right now.
Fair. Fair.
Okay, so maybe it's not a guaranteed to be lethal.
That's still rather different from what I was told. She said there are treatments and that if the player is remembering correctly, that it can be cured.
Um, I think I said there wasn't like a confirmed cure. There was like it was like theorized that there could be
Okay,
one.
okay, okay. That there could be a cure. All right.
Yeah, I think that there is no confirmed cure yet.
Yes.
It was theorized that it could be possible, but it's yet to happen because they've yet to just have the right stuff together.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Okay. Then he would say potentially the potential for a cure rather than
Tone kind of
confirmed cureless.
makes even more of a face at that, and his little eyebrows are just like very pointed downwards in thought. You've got every little 3 brain cells in his head going full at it.
All right. Why
Hmm.
don't you come inside?
Do you still have some of that coffee I like?
Uh oh, from the station? Yes.
Okay, then yes. And Tone
Yuto was able to dispose of the original bad coffee, but Professor got more bad coffee.
just for a tome.
Yeah.
Just for tome. Tone kind of walks in, humming as he does so. You can tell he's actually like, despite the chaotic beginning to this, he is actually taking this in like a serious thought.
Uh huh. Yeah, yeah.
Hmm. I mean, I guess it could be. Let me roll something. I want to see, does
Mm.
he finally shove that ego aside?
Mm-hmm.
Nat 20, thank fuck.
Ooh, yeah.
Maybe I had a habit of focusing on the worst parts of things and
Mm.
didn't attempt to research any more mild cases.
Ah, that would put a certain bias on the information you got.
His face is flushed a little red. He's embarrassed. He got called out on his bad habits.
Aww. All right. Um, all right. Well, I think probably it would be good if we both looked into it a little more and got some more complete information.
I guess so. It still won't be easy.
No, of course not. But Crystal's a good start, and oh, I don't know. There are other medical establishments and medical related establishments in Inkwell that might be able to help.
Please don't make me go to a doctor over this.
It doesn't have to be a doctor, it can be a researcher. You won't have to have your name put on paper or anything, but you can have a interview with somebody who knows what they're talking about.
Uh, Professor, you do realize most of the researchers I've met, if they interact with a person, is to study them like a bug, right?
Okay, yes, I realize that. But I can tell you
Uh huh.
that not all of them are like that,
Uh
and
huh.
you just have to find them. Trust me, it's really hard, but you have to do it.
Fine.
I found one in Crystal, and thank goodness, because I think I would have died several times over if I hadn't found somebody who could help, who I could
Professor,
trust.
I'm quite certain that you would have died multiple times over for a variety of reasons at this point.
Yes, absolutely. I agree.
Yeah, you don't you don't need to be that excited to agree,
Not.
Professor. That's Tone cracks a small smile.
It's hard to find good help.
I understand.
Right, well, it doesn't mean you can't look. Besides, you don't have to tell them you have it. You know, break the ice with a few degrees of separation. I know somebody who knows somebody who has this. Can you tell me about it? And if they seem trustworthy, then you can reveal, surprise, the somebody was me.
Okay, got it.
Believe me, I've done this a lot.
Oh, trust me, I believe that quite easily.
Good. It maybe if you don't know something for sure, don't say it so confidently. Um, because I believed you, 100%. And I think I,
Tone kind of just walks over and pulls Professor into a hug.
I think I need you to understand why the fate I thought you were facing upset me as much as it did. I would have been upset no matter what. It's terrible, but it struck a very personable and still fairly raw nerve.
Yeah, I I understand, Professor.
Well, you don't, because you don't know. My.
Yes, but I can understand that it upsets you.
Alright, well, I'm going to explain why. My family weren't just killed, Tome. They were erased from its existence. And when that wasn't enough for me to forget them, scrubbed forcefully from my memory in a manner that I was not able to fix until over 600 years later, about 2 years ago now. It hurt to find out why I didn't have a family, but I was glad to remember them finally. So, the idea of losing somebody I love in a manner in which the world would forget them entirely, to have my own memory of them threatened, I couldn't bear it.
Oh, okay. I expect I'm okay. I'll survive this. Ah! Every time the Professor lore gets me, every time I die.
Oof.
Um, Tome is he's not handing me words. He's just pulling Professor into as tight of a hug as he can.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's hugging him back, also very hard.
It's not gonna happen to me, okay?
Yeah.
Even if it is a possibility, I'm not letting it happen. You're not letting it happen. The boys, Crystal, Moria, many a people are not letting it happen.
Yes. That's right.
So, speaking of what I thought would happen, I do have a request of you
Mm.
regarding the conversation we had beforehand.
Yes.
If possible, I would like to undo our promise, the one where you have to tell my story and all that.
Oh, are you sure?
Yes, I'm not that worried about that anymore.
Okay. Alright then. Uh, Consider it annulled.
Good. He kind of cracks a small smile. Plus, let's be honest, knowing you and how much you like to blab about how much you love people, I'll still come up no matter what.
Of course. I was going to tell your story anyway.
Yeah, well, now you can have a little bit more creative liberty with it, I guess. I am
Did you
attuned.
think I wasn't going to take liberties?
Well, the old me had hoped you wouldn't.
You never specified.
I, God, it's like dealing with the Fae.
I told you. Uh, when I tell it, it's going to be a good story.
Implying that my current story isn't a good one? Thank you
No.
very much. Despite the tragedy and trauma, I am, if anything, at least a charismatic character.
Not implying that. Given your mental state at the time, I was trying to
Fair enough.
emphasize that I wouldn't be telling a tragedy.
Well, I'm sure hoping it's not going to be a tragedy now. At least now I can see that as a possibility.
Good. Good. Got enough of those.
Yes. Well. At this rate, I think I'm actually probably leaning more towards a comedy.
Oh, that's alright. I like comedies.
Is that why you like hanging around me so much? And there's a small smile.
That's only one reason.
Mm-hmm. The other reason, the fact that you're not the tallest person in the room?
Hmm. I don't know. I have mixed feelings about that. I rather liked being tall.
Ah, well. Sorry.
There you go.
Not really, but sorry.
That's alright. There's always somebody taller.
Yeah, there is.
Hmm. He does kind of like chuckle, like he knows who Tome is thinking about.
Yeah, it's not hard to realize it Tome's being a little pissy about with that one.
Hmm. You know, um, he uh, may have indirectly saved my life.
Who Tome's roll insight real quick. Poor buddy. I have the best fucking flavoring for this. The dice saved it pretty well.
Uh huh.
I mean, the modifier saves it pretty well, but it, you and I aren't thinking of the same person, are we?
Um, you're thief.
There's a double blink. And what did you pay him afterwards?
No, actually, it was well, uh, he stole something for me. Um, and it was actually he digs in his pocket and pulls out the very ornate um, uh, bottle that is actually filled again with a unit of the professor's blood. This
Huh.
it's the blood's very hard to preserve, but this bottle had the means, uh, and the people selling it were going to ask for something uh, terrible. And due to the enchantment magic in the place, I was highly considering it. But uh, your thief stepped in, um, convinced me not to, and ended up swiping the item himself. And then he gave it to me after the end of our little exploit in that location.
I'm not going to ask why you two were at a location where such a kind of deal would be concerning. And you see his like face kind of like light up. But I am going to remember this. He helped someone without asking for something. Hmm. I
He
am
did.
never going to let him forget this.
He did. It was explicitly a gift.
I'm sorry, Tom's just handing me the most love-struck look right now.
uh,
Listen, his thief did something nice without requiring pay in front of other people.
um,
It won't be as hard to convince people that he swears Beck's a good person.
I wouldn't have recognized him except for that um, cologne.
Yeah, well, that is, to be honest, the only way I can recognize him half of the time. He's probably the best at disguises I know.
Mm-hmm.
Almost anything I've learned has been from him.
Mm-hmm. Good in a fight, too.
That he is. I'm sorry!
Professor's just got kind of a mischievous look, like he knows what he's doing. It just kind of pats, like, Tome consolingly on the shoulder.
Right to the galleries. He didn't even give me a second to think. He just took over for that one. Haven't seen him fight too often. We try to stay out of them, but
Mm-hmm.
he can definitely hold his own, particularly with that knife of his.
Mm-hmm. You know, he came along on our little venture without pay as well. It was, uh, what's the word? Um, uh, it was good for the community.
Tome just has like the biggest smile right now. Oh, I am definitely going to need to talk to him about this now. Tome in my head is just like, so he's saying he doesn't care and he doesn't want to stay around. But Professor right now is telling me a very different story. Helping out the community, feeling for people to help them do better. My. Well, this is an interesting situation.
uh, hmm.
Did
Yeah.
he mention any reason he was doing all this?
Uh, well, at the time he was disguised as a uh, tourist um,
Not exactly incorrect.
named Teo Reist.
You watch as Tome internally face palms. You can sense the internal, why do I like this person? Go through his head for a moment.
Not immune to the toony pun names trope.
No, no, I'm not surprised. Just
um, and, well, I don't know. Guess he couldn't help himself. There was a bit of an interesting hubbub. Uh, he came over to see what was up with the rest of us, and, well, when several of us declared that we would help, uh, I forget
look at him.
what happened exactly. If he volunteered or if I asked. But either way, he agreed.
Look at that. Huh. I'll have to see about next time I try and talk to him then.
Mm-hmm.
I'll have to even see if he's still here.
Mm. Well, with the ellipsis working, it doesn't really matter if he is or not. still find him.
True. But if he isn't here, then I don't think my plot device can reach him.
Ah.
And he is quite annoying to catch.
Mm.
You normally have to lure him in some way.
Hmm.
And the particular things that normally work, I do not have the energy to go hunt down right now.
Hmm. Interesting.
Who knows? Maybe I can message him later, and if I'm lucky, he'll still be on planet.
Mm-hmm.
So have to figure out those interactions, and try not to be awkward, but
Well, that's all right.
so I heard you brought Yura into the family as well.
Yes. Yes. Uh, a few people. Uh, it's still, difficult to, um, mm, well, you'll probably believe it. You have the context, but believe it or not, a little difficult to muster the confidence to ask people, so there's only a few. Um,
Yes. Oh, I understand why that's hard for you.
mhm. uh, Arata and Aurelia were easier because they asked me.
And then similar with mine. Got it.
Mm. I
Well, is
managed to
there?
ask Yura, though.
Well, that's 4 for 4 then. That's going successful.
Yes.
Is there anybody else you're planning on asking?
Whew. Azumi.
I need to roll deception. Real. Ooh, Tome, you are keeping a straight face. That is a 25.
Nice. Man, yeah, the professor cannot beat that. I'll roll
Yep,
for the
no,
sake of nat 20, but nope, nope, got close. I got a 19, but that only puts him at a 23.
I'm sorry, Professor. Tome just kind of nods. Well, I'm sure if anyone is someone who can understand having trouble with that, I can't even pretend to understand what goes on in that kid's mind.
Well, I know it's going to be a bit complicated. He's got his own uh, baggage with regard to family, but um,
You can handle it.
yes, and we're pretty close.
Yes, I did pick that up.
Hmm. Um, a few other people. He's kind of like clearly thinking, but not sure if he should say. Um, Azumi was just kind of the first one to pop into his head, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm definitely gonna ask Azumi." um,
I'm gonna roll insight. And so it's gonna be up to you if Tome can figure out what he's thinking, because once again, it was the modifier that saved this.
mm-hmm. Okay, a 16. Uh, I don't think Professor is hiding this. But yeah, no, it looks like he there are other people he's got on his mind, but he is uh, hesitant to say for one reason or another.
You can talk to me if you wish. I assure you I've adopted all the people I plan on adopting. And I
He,
wouldn't mind if you adopted some of them as well. Just
mm,
as long as you aren't their father.
uh, no, that's all right. Don't, I don't mind being a sort of um, parental figure. Uh,
You're. I'd just call you. Well, through me, you'd be an uncle. Through age alone, you're a great 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 grandfather.
I'm not. My point is, I don't plan on being anyone's father. No.
Good. There's a little protective pod. Sorry, Professor. This man is slightly possessive.
No, I'm plenty capable of being a uh, parental stand-in without necessarily being named anyone's parent.
Good. Well, who is it then? Depending on the person, maybe I can give some insight.
uh, Stars. Well, I I'm not Leo and Camille.
Oh, that one's. You've got that.
You think?
Well, Leo is easy. He. I've never seen him turn someone down for family. And Camille is practically a package deal.
Hmm.
Or if you adopt Camille, then Leo comes along. Really, you just have to adopt one of them.
Well, I
That's
wouldn't
what
want.
happened to me, at least.
All right. I wouldn't want to. I would want to ask them both.
Yes, well, you can either ask them separately or together. But
Probably together. If
I could see them. Yes. Especially since you know what's going on with Camille. I
mm,
think that will mean a lot as well.
mm. Stars is difficult.
Yes. Yes, it is. Trust me, I know. I still don't know what they did up there. And he kind of taps his chest and then head.
Mm,
But you're talking to someone who used to find the easier solution to be to just die rather than ask someone to be family.
mm.
Some days it's still a considerable thought, though less dying and more just explode in anxiety.
Mm.
But that's not really an good option now.
I'm glad you're
So
feeling
I'm
better.
pretty good at being able to give advice on how to not do that. Yeah, no, definitely doing better. Still myself, which means there's plenty of nerves bouncing around in here, but a
Mm,
lot more controllable.
that's good. I I'm not sure. Some people I'm not sure about yet.
There's no rush.
Right.
You of all people have all the time in the world.
Perhaps.
Plus, trying to rush it's only going to make you feel worse in the end.
Hmm.
This is Inkwell. Families will happen. You don't have to worry about that. Just relax and enjoy life. You don't want your memories of trying to ask them to be family to be filled with anxiety and stress. Just treat them as family, and one day, before you know it, you will be. Titles are an extra thing, not even necessary.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes people will be family and not even realize it.
Mm-hmm.
We've got this, Professor. You got us.
Thank you.
Of course.
It means a lot.
I'm glad.
Oatmeal needs a second.
Take your second, Oatmeal. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to kill you.
No, it's okay. It's just, oof. It really gets Professor, man.
Yeah, no, I know. I've been hearing it in your voice.
Yep.
I'm just lucky Tome's still halfway on Pina Colada Island in my brain.
uh,
It's my only saving grace right now.
mm-hmm.
All of the crises of life haven't quite hit him again. They're slowly starting to hit him very mildly compared to the history,
Yeah.
but he's overall doing pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Meanwhile, Professor's kind of just oof,
Yeah. Yeah. Oof.
oof.
Hmm.
Tome kind of walks over and ruffles Professor's hair too.
Mm-hmm. You're a
I'm
good
just giving you time. I'm giving you time,
Yeah,
man.
man, I have words, but I keep getting choked up.
Yeah, sounds in character for Professor right now.
uh,
Take your time. Take your time.
yep.
I'd be crying if I wasn't laughing.
Oh boy. You're a good brother.
The same goes to you. I haven't had one before, but I think you're exactly what one would want out of a brother.
Thank you.
I could do without the ego some days.
uh,
Tome smiles at that. He likes seeing Professor laugh.
mhm. Well, I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. It's kind of baked into this iteration, so to speak.
I guess I'll have to find a way to survive. It's not like everybody else in this household is full of an ego.
Hmm. Oh, stars, right. I forgot. I didn't. I never told you about regeneration.
Oh yeah.
Alright. So, as an alien, I come with some rather odd features.
This is just you, by the way, not all aliens, correct?
Uh, well, I mean, uh, this particular thing is just me, yes.
Okay.
It's a Times R thing, not an alien thing.
Okay.
Um, Other aliens have different other traits. No, this is exclusively a Times R thing. As a matter of fact, we invented it. Um,
Invented?
invented uh, our one of our um, uh, it's hard to say greatest leader now that I know better, but um, one of our most prominent leaders in the past uh, was a bioengineer. Um, he and
Ah,
yeah, he and two others took the Phalagrayans and uh, created time czars.
Tome is making a face derogatory.
Uh huh. We weren't nearly so optimized. Phalagrayans weren't nearly so optimized for space travel or time travel or um, fighting interdimensional vampires.
I will still argue regarding the last one. There's a small smile.
uh, but right, this regeneration feature. Well, they were obsessed with, uh, well, for a time, immortality, but when they figured that there were drawbacks to that, they settled for longevity. Um, Aside from a uh, naturally long lifespan, um, we have this feature where uh, through uh, either old age or um, some more traumatic means, if we die, we come back. Although we
Tome opens his mouth and closes it as he has a thought and then realizes it's a really bad thing to say to Professor.
although we only get a set number of times, like a cat with 9 lives.
Okay.
Uh, Except we get 13 regenerations. I've I'm on my fourth incarnation. So I've actually pretty much literally got 9 left.
Tome's just kind of staring at you, blinking.
It's a transformation. The body dies and regenerates. It uh, renews itself. Um, a new body is created. The soul is the same, the memories are the same. The personality changes a little bit um, when your uh, brain is structured differently. That's going to happen.
Uh-huh.
Um, but it's still you. Um, look different, sound different. but it's still me. And
So,
it kind of any experience or expertise uh, that's power that you've gained that gets uh, that gets reset to zero. So somebody who's freshly regenerated is rather weak.
Tome's just staring for a second, and he's just biting his lip in thought.
Mm-hmm.
Out of character, Tome is doing his best to not say something offensive. He has so many reactions, and none of them are nice right now.
Uh-huh.
They're not directed at Professor.
Uh-huh. Professor is trying to read him, so I will roll an insight. Okay, not bad. That's a dirty 20.
Yeah, I won't even roll deception. Yeah, Tome's trying not to say something mean or offensive. You can't tell which.
Mm-hmm. If you've got questions or comments or smart remarks, now would be a good time.
So these people
Hmm.
experimented to create this quote unquote ideal version,
Yes, Tome.
and they couldn't even bother to keep the expertise. I'm sorry. This just sounds like, uh, no offense to you, Professor, offense to everyone else, but not to you. Um,
No, it
it's
was
stu-
not possible.
well, it's stupid. First of all, trying to play with life is already in its own stupid.
I know.
Uh, and I'm not saying what happens to you is stupid, but it's stupid.
Well, I.
I see no upside to this. I need you to know, Oatmeal, every time I've poked Tome internally about this, he has not handed me such, like, blatant what the fuck back. He's always been pretty chill.
Mm-hmm.
And right
Mm-hmm.
now he's just in my head going, what the fuck?
Fair. Fair. It made a little more sense in the context of ancient Father Grey. We were being uh, preyed on by vampires, and we
Fair enough.
um, the gods we met were not um, helpful. They were actively malicious, as a matter of fact. Um,
Tome's looking at you, and he pauses in thought, and then decides to say it, and he just goes, this is explaining a lot about you.
hmm. Yes, well, I can't help what I am, and though I've unlearned a lot, some cultural bits remain,
Like the vampires.
like the vampires.
Do let me know if I can help with that anyway, by the way.
I
I've
will.
been having people help with me with my fears, and well, it's quite useful when you're not doing things alone.
Yes, I agree. I'll let you know. I don't know what can be done, but I'll I'll be it'll be much easier to get over when I don't have that oath and the threat behind it hanging over my head. Um,
Understandable.
but I understand, uh, even for somebody as persuasive as Ivan, that's a process that's going to take a while. You can imagine that the legislature of Falagrey does not move quickly.
Oh no. Considering how stubborn all of you are, I'm
Mm,
surprised it moves at all.
yeah, you and me both.
But, well, that's not a problem for now.
Mm,
All of us can take care of any vampires that may come near you.
thank you.
Not murdering,
No, no,
but
that's all right. Uh,
redirecting.
yes, that's preferred.
But it will all be taken care of eventually.
Mm. So yeah, I so that's regeneration. Whether I like it or not, um, a given incarnation will live a very long time, if not killed. Uh, and then we're talking maybe 10,000 years. If you take care of yourself. Um,
Which you won't, so we can cut that number down.
well, I'm already only 700, and I'm down 3 incarnations. You can see what's happened.
Yes, you are very reckless, stupid,
Yeah, well,
overambitious,
in fairness, only one of them was
rude,
my fault.
fighty. Mm-hmm.
Only one of them was.
Tome, Tome's once again giving that little smile.
Anyway, uh, that's what happened. So in my past, there are um, 3 other, well,
You.
yes, uh, versions of me.
So
Um,
that means right now,
mm,
throughout the universe and timelines, there's
mm.
4 professors right now.
Uh,
Probably more, to include your future selves.
I hope more.
Oh, that's horrible. God, one of you is already so much.
uh,
Oh God, does that mean there's more than one Ivan?
um, yeah.
Ugh. There's not
Probably.
enough me's to punch him.
Yeah. Well, there's probably um less running around because um hasn't he doesn't leave Falagrey nearly as much as I
Good.
do. Which is to say that I haven't been back.
Good.
Um,
Sorry,
no.
that's a little inconsiderate.
um,
Homeboys, how do I not sound rude when I very much hate where Professor's
yeah,
from?
no, it's okay. He gets it. uh, but well, I'm at the beginning of this incarnation, so you should be seeing this face for a very long time.
Oh,
Um,
good.
but eventually, through either uh, normal wear and tear, quote unquote old age, and or something a little more um, exciting, it'll come to an end, and I'll uh, come back. Uh, stars willing. My regenerations, particularly, I I have a bit of a uh, hmm. I suppose it would be considered a genetic disorder. My regenerations tend to go wonky. Um, there's less of a guarantee that I'll come back at all, as a matter of fact.
Tome kind of frowns at that. Well, then, definitely not going to be letting any of those more, as you said, exciting options happen anytime soon.
That's the goal.
You are stuck here as long as I have to say, or anybody I know has to say. I could probably ask Pritch
Ask Pritch what?
to keep an eye on you.
No.
Pritch is going to outlive me,
Hmm.
so make sure to keep yourself out of trouble. Keep your head on your shoulders. Make
Hmm.
sure you don't stick too many sticks up your ass. You know, the usual.
Mm-hmm.
Tom kind of pauses and he pulls the professor into another hug. We're not losing you anytime soon if that's what you're worried about. Just
No.
like how you're not losing us.
No, I know. Believe me, I don't plan to regenerate for a very long time.
Good.
I like this one.
Yeah, there's some things to like. Get a little head bonk.
Well, it's my favorite so far.
I'd hope so. It'd be really annoying if I had to deal with you constantly talking about how you used to be.
Hmm. Well, I could still do that, but don't have
Oh, please don't.
don't have as much good things to say.
Oh, that's perfectly fine with me. We
Hmm.
all grow as we continue. Makes sense that each one will be a bit better than the last.
Mm-hmm.
You learn a bit every time.
Exactly. Didn't used to be so flighty though.
Oh, I can't help with that one. I'd be too much of a hypocrite then. But I mean, as long as you come back, that's what's important, right?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. As long as you keep coming back here, see no problems with running off.
Hmm.
You sure wouldn't be the only person I know who does that.
Hmm.
Just, like I said, make sure you come back.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I can ask of someone.
Mm-hmm. I intend to.
You're going to.
Hmm.
Remember how much we hated each other when we first met?
Remember how much you hated me?
No, it was definitely mutual.
It
Definitely
was
mutual, my
not.
No, it was. It was absolutely. I would never hate someone for no reason.
I didn't. I didn't hate you when we met on that train. I I rather liked you actually. You were a bit uh
Asshole-ish.
well,
You
you
can say it. It's true.
uh, I mean, you were very paranoid, but you still are, and honestly, knowing what I know, for good reason,
Similar to you, then.
quite got my own paranoias.
That we do. But, okay, so fine. Maybe it was one-sided, but to be fair, that's how most of my hatreds tend to go.
You were
Or
being
used to go?
defensive. I started talking about your sons, and you got defensive.
Yes, which, God, that was before I even slightly began to unpack all that
Mm.
internally.
Mm.
No, either way, I'm glad that's over.
Mm.
No. Now the only thing I hate about you is can't think of anything. I was gonna think of some smart rhetoric, but I've already insulted your ego too many times. It's getting boring.
Mm.
I mean, you gotta do something new to annoy me, Professor. I'm running out of insults.
Mm. I'll think of something.
Oh, good. Thank you. I'm glad.
Mm. How have things been going with Harry?
um, we don't talk as often. Aries been busy, I've been busy, and
Mm.
since I'm not constantly trying to woo him, things have, well, they've been nicer almost.
Mm.
A lot more chill. I'm not constantly running into him. The plot seems to have calmed down with that at least, but
Mm.
when we do interact, things, they go quite nicely.
Good. He. See, I can't think that. No, no. Professor would know at least this much. Um, he told you he had something he needed to do.
Yes.
He
He
talked to
said,
me about it.
he did.
Yes, he thinks I can help. I think I can help. I'm going to try.
Oh, you can, most likely.
Hmm.
I don't know what it is, but if you can't help with it right now, knowing you, you'll find a way to. Drive you up the wall otherwise.
Hmm. No, I think I can. I think I can handle this one.
Good. I won't pry into what he hasn't told me details, and I'd rather him tell me those himself.
Hmm.
But let me know if I can't help.
Hmm. I will.
Even if even if I'm coming to terms with the possibility of Harry and I not being like that, which is fine.
Hmm.
I I do want to still be able to help him.
Mm-hmm. That's good. Hmm.
You got anything else, Oatmeal?
I'm thinking.
I'm thinking too. I'm racking my brain.
Um, could you have Tome roll, I think history
Sure.
to remember something?
That's a nat one.
Come on, man.
I'm not joking.
Man. Alright, well, that's not happening then.
Well, I'm curious now.
Well, it was going to be about a habit that he's noticed the professor do. Uh,
Uh, yeah, no, no, not with a nat one. Fuck.
yeah.
I can roll at advantage.
Yeah, go ahead.
Um, so he has modifiers.
That's great. It's not even a low, it's not even a high DC. And that one just isn't. Yeah, a 13.
Yeah,
Um, uh, Tome has spent a decent amount of time observing the professor, and he notices fucking everything.
yeah.
Um, uh,
50 eyes, this man.
mhm. And particularly during times when they've been uh, kind of inseparable. Uh, Tome has noticed that on occasion, maybe maybe every 2 weeks or so, uh, he casts Greater Restoration on himself. Just kind of casually. No
Ow.
explanation. And he knows that he knows he's casting that because he's had it cast on him. He knows what it
Yeah.
looks like when the professor casts Greater Restoration.
Okay. Okay. Oof. Emotionally prepped myself. I don't remember the exact lore for this, but I have a feeling. Tom,
Uh, mm,
hmm?
you're good. You're good.
Tom kind of pauses. And he tilts his head. You know, well, since we're catching up, I do have a question I've been meaning to ask.
Oh,
Why do you keep casting Greater Restoration on you? I've noticed you've been doing it a lot.
oh. Well, that's related to one of my paranoias, actually. Uh, I well, uh, time saws have very um, resilient memories, but we can still be affected by things like modify memory.
Ah,
Um,
so you're making sure nothing's changed.
yes, it's
Tom
just in case.
nods and takes a breath. Well, I can't cast anything like that. Not even close, but
Hmm.
if you ever need resources or materials, let me know. I can understand having a fear that you can't quite shake.
Thank you.
I'm rattling my brain cells right now. Come on, there has to be something. I say when we're like probably over the FPS.
Hour 17. That's.
Hour 17? Oh yeah, I have OBS. I can just check. What am I talking about? Yeah, hour 17. I'm so used to our FPS as being like 3 hours long. It feels wrong to me. It just feels off.
Uh huh. I think the professor would just. I, 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 I think at some point he would just point out, like, uh, I like being brothers, but, um, if you could just refer to me as siblings sometimes as well.
Oh. You see Tone's eyes like light up. I'm sorry, I have to do this. He is a gamer. Like when he does a little wrist flick.
Professor starts laughing. Um,
Is it like or is it like and he makes like a motion of cracking an egg,
oh, the this isn't new. Um,
I've always picked up you're a little fruity, but
um, no, I think the local term would be either gender fluid or genderqueer for my entire life.
oh nice. I'm sorry, Tome just handed me like switching full queer fruit. this, this is so funny to me personally. Oh well, just let me know whenever you want to change. I could do brother, sibling, sister, whichever.
Hmm. All right, good.
He, she, they, whatever.
He and they for now.
He and they. Got it. Sorry, that got me. Like, you know?
Yeah.
Tom is the worst. I love him.
Uh, oh. I think that's probably it.
Yeah, I don't have anything.
They probably hang out for a while, but like
I, I don't got anything. Yeah,
yeah.
Tom's just in my head like, okay, brothers, check. Promise, check.
Mhm.
Emotions, check.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, he's added some future to-do lists. Like after the FPS, he's probably gonna text back and be like, "Hey, heard you're helping out the community."
Nice.
Like a little asshole he is. Um,
Uh-huh. Beck, who for whom this event has been like months ago at this point, like
me
over
looking at
six
what
months, is just
actually is
like, huh?
happening. I'm looking at what's actually happening with Spec right now.
Yeah, yeah. uh, it's it's not like he's turned over a new leaf. He's just
Yeah,
sometimes he's does a good thing.
Tome in my head is just like, yes, I'll be able to convince people. They all see the goody little two shoes I see deep down. Um,
Hmm.
all right. Well, thank you, Oatmeal, for having this FPS with me.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you to all our current listeners and our future listeners.
Yeah.
Hope you enjoyed,
Hmm.
and may everyone have a wonderful time zone. Bye
Yeah.
bye.
Bye.